Hi, welcome back to the Quilted Gardener. Like I said earlier on Facebook, I sound like a goose in heat. I haven't shaved because I don't feel like it. So what I've decided, I think I'm going to switch glasses first. At least these I can see with. I'm going to bring you along on my, had to close a bunch of stuff out. Studio, basically remodel organization. Apparently I left my computer online for, I don't know, a couple of days. I haven't been down here. And now I can't get it to go off. Nice. So I'm going to bring you guys along on my studio remodel, redecorate, whatever. I mean, my sewing table right now is an absolute mess. One, I've got to get my desk down here and figured out where I want to put it. But until I get things organized, I'm not going to bring my actual desk down here. Dang, my wedding ring is very, very tight today. My hands are a little swollen. So, right now you're just looking at the area that my sewing table sits in and my embroidery machine sits, and of course it's like my pseudo desk at the moment. So, started working on the floor, and I like it. I mean, I took it's the vinyl that I had upstairs over my cherry floors in the kitchen because I wanted a different look is the only reason that I had done that. I would move over a little more, but there's a board leg thingy jig right here that I'm going to smack my knee on. Yep, just did it. So that's coming down here. So it's not a waste. And then my design wall is behind me. And I think it's 12 foot long. So I can hang up, quilts that need to be quilted. But I've got a different idea on how I'm going to do that too. Because I have this clothing rack upstairs in my utility room where, you take stuff right out of the dryer and hang it onto that. But it lately has been extremely annoying to me. So I'm looking at a different way to do that. Because I do have a countertop that I took out of my kitchen. That was my breakfast bar. And I think I'm going to make it into a folding table with a hang rack underneath it. Just so it's more useful and not so claustrophobic in there, because I do cut hair in there too. I mean, I don't cut a lot of people's hair, but I've been licensed to cut hair for 22 years now. So that's how I worked my way through nursing school. So I do have my hair studio in there too. So, and then I have a spot on the wall that has to be painted because I moved a cabinet and didn't realize it wasn't painted behind it. So I've got to do that too. So as far as the studio goes, I don't think a lot of people have actually seen it, and it's absolutely an embarrassment at the moment. So I'm going to get up and turn the camera around, just kind of do a slow pan of what I'm dealing with at the moment. So like I said, this is where I sew, or will be sewing. The front of my sewing table is not finished yet. I have to go get the wainscot or whatever that stuff is called that goes on the front of it. That'll probably be a trip tomorrow. So, as I go up, I guess I could turn this around so I can see what I'm doing. Duh. Here's my design wall. It's quite large. And then my embroidery machine is there. There's a cutout right here pointing. It's hard to see. There's a little hole right there, which has to be made bigger because my 4411 is bigger than the machine that was in there. And then just some artwork stuff. Right here, this is what I see when I come down the stairs. And here's the flooring that I started. And then over here, there's still hookered blue wall. That color just was not what I expected it to be. So this whole section through here is getting repainted. Even the gray portion, I'm just gonna go around and leave the gray behind my logo there, and my other one over here. This table that you're looking at now is where my serger is. There's a ton of storage underneath it, which I'll be cleaning that stuff out because it's mostly Christmas stuff. The sofa, I don't know what I'm doing with it yet because I have a very large ironing table. And then my mid-arm setup, which is raised so that I don't have to, I'm not bending over so much. Because I've had 2 back surgeries, so your back starts to get really tired when you're doing that. So then here's my mess. This is kind of where I'm putting everything that needs to be broken down cardboard-wise and thrown away. And then there's a ladder underneath this fabric right here. Oops, I just ran into a box. This table is actually my patio table that's sitting here with all these boxes underneath it. These boxes have offcuts and scraps in them, and then another design wall which is coming out. I'm going to do a trip tomorrow to get actual drywall, and then it'll be finished all the way down to where you see that lone 2x4 standing. I do use the storage underneath my stairs, so I got to figure out how I'm going to do that because I do store my Christmas tree underneath there and a bunch of other stuff. So I'm gonna, I ran into 2 things that time. I'm gonna come over here. I mean, obviously you guys know I sell fabric, so here's a portion of it. All the way down there. So this is all getting reorganized. I have a huge pile on the floor on the rug that is becoming the spring fling back quarter sets. So here is my, which way do I go? My lens thing is upside down, so I'm looking at the ceiling actually. But right here is my cutting table. One of them, I have 2, which is an absolute mess right now too. Which way do I go? Dang. For some reason my camera didn't flip the screen when I flipped it. I don't know how to make that happen. So anyway, if I stand all the way back here, you get a little bit more of a perspective of how big my studio actually is. I have camera tripod legs hitting stuff. So I'm going to check this video and make sure it's normalized. But my ironing table is right there, and that was built specifically for my height, so I don't have to bend over. It helps my back a lot. And then there's another, that cutting table there. So that is the thing that I'm contemplating on taking apart. Part of it, I think, not sure, because I actually thought it was, well, no, that's staying the way it is. So now we're going to walk back down so I'm not making everybody dizzy with my moving around. I'm going to flip my camera back around here. Just give me a second. Oh, my gum is stuck to my teeth. So I'll be, working on this while doing orders. I mean, I have the big Hoffman order coming in next week. So that'll be shipping out as soon as it arrives. And then, of course, I have, 9 bazillion back orders to cut and get those ready and up on the store. Excuse me, this weekend, when I take my breaks from working on stuff and painting and that kind of thing, I'm going to be lowering prices on quite a bit of stuff that just needs to go out the door to make room for new stuff that's coming in. I still have not made a definitive decision if I'm closing the store 100%, or if I'm going to carry just, new lines that Hoffman releases and Bendertex. But as you could see when I walked you down there, I have a lot of fabric on my shelves, and I need to make room for it. So a lot of Christmas stuff will be going on sale this weekend, just for the fact that, it needs to go. And then a lot of my stuff that I've had from day one of starting this. I mean, truthfully, I started this as just something to do and keep myself occupied. And don't you love it when you find cords and you don't know what they go to? That might be a phone charger. I actually have a little box started for cords that I've been finding, but it's over there. So, back to what I was saying, is I started this out as something to, my fabric store, something to keep myself busy when I first had to stop working because of health issues. And then it just got kind of out of hand, truthfully. That's the thing with fabric. You can let it get out of hand pretty quick. So I added notions, and I added this, and I added that. And it just really got out of hand. And, I brought in some lines that I thought would sell really well, and they flopped. So those will be going on sale too here pretty soon. This weekend is my plan. Although Sunday, I know we have quite a bit of work to do on the chicken coop because it is getting cold here. And my great niece's birthday is this weekend, her first birthday. So we'll be going to that Sunday afternoon. So that'll kind of bite into some of my time working down here over the weekend. But it's not like I don't have a ton of time to get things done. I'm one of the people that having things piled up in front of me annoys me, so I move it. But I need to cut the hole in this table anyway. So, as far as redoing this, it's not a whole major thing, but over where I showed you where the table was, that's my patio table, and I have under stair storage. That just needs to be redone because it's very hodgepodgey and it drives me nuts to even look at it. So my desk and computer, printer, all that stuff will be over there. I'm going to put a bookshelf in to store my books and my art supplies, paper, printer stuff, things like that. Because I have this plastic drawer thing. Oh, there it is. That I keep my printer ink and stuff in, but then I bought a new printer and it's not the right ink, so that all has to go upstairs to the other printer because it does work in there. And then I have my shipping supplies that I need to find a place to put, and a place for my scale for when I'm shipping large packages that need a weight or they're going overseas somewhere, Germany, Australia, UK, wherever. I have to have a specific weight on those because the paperwork has to be done manually now because you can no longer do it online unless it's over 4 pounds. And then when it's over 4 pounds, it becomes priority. And then the shipping cost is astronomical. One of the ladies at the post office the other day explained to me that the post office no longer uses ship or rail. They only use air. So it doesn't matter how big the package is, it's the weight. So the weight will drive the cost up astronomically for us to ship now. And then those people who have ordered from overseas have to pay duty fees and all kinds of stuff. So it's really ridiculous, and I think it's awful. I do offer overseas to the UK, Australia, Canada. Where else? I think that's it, because the other countries were ridiculous. I've shipped a couple of times to Africa, and it took 6 months for a package to get where it needed to go. Australia can take 12 weeks due to just how far they drive, I guess. So it's a little crazy, but I do offer that service if you're willing to pay for the shipping. So this really isn't day one of my studio remodel, redecorate, whatever you want to call it, because I have been down here, and I have several drawings done, which are not professional, obviously, because I'm not an architect. And I do have my to-do list on here, and I was looking at this day before yesterday, I think it was, and it's like, yeah, I'm not sure that's really going to work, so had to reconfigure some stuff. So, and of course I did this in ink, so it means it has to be redrawn, but I just kind of scratched something out and replaced it. I've had a couple people ask me, to show them my floor layout, but I changed it. So it's kind of a moot point. Like my cutting table is actually going to have to be moved so that I can access the understair storage from that side. This sofa is getting moved down there somewhere. I think I'm pretty much going to use it as a room divider and move my ironing table down here. Just makes more sense for it to be down here. It used to be down here. For some reason I moved it. So, but that wall has to be painted, and of course to do that I got to move the sofa. But in order to move the sofa, I have to move this back so I can get the sofa out, and then my frame has to be moved so the sofa can be put down there. So it's a lot of manual work that I don't like doing. I'm just not a manual labor kind of person. So, and I really need to figure out the positioning of my frame, because I just don't quilt well being east and west. I don't know what it is. I'm the same way with sleeping. I switch directions according to the seasons or whatever. So, and I've not had any of those late night insomnia things to where I've been down here actually working. I've been awake, but I've had no want to get anything done just because I'm so unorganized down here. So it's pretty much work off of a to-do list to get things done. I'm hoping to have everything pretty well, figured out and in place before that Hoffman order comes in. It's not that it's huge, but there are a lot of orders that need to be gotten out once that arrives, so I need to be able to access everything I need easily. So, I'm considering building my own bookshelves. It's just cheaper, and it's out of real wood over buying the the ones that are in the little cartons. I have tons of storage cubes, but they're what hold up my cutting tables, and so I mean obviously I'm keeping those because they're not cheap, but I need a couple of bookshelves, in which I do have a couple things that were built for me before I had a studio that I used to surround my sewing machine when I was quilting to hold it up. And I don't use those anymore because I have, this gargantuan table, and then this is considered my embroidery table is actually considered an extension table that goes on the other side if I am doing quilt as you go and it's a large piece. But I mean, this table, my sewing table, actually is, what is it? Just a little over 2 feet wide, and it's approximately 8 foot long. Technically, it could have been much shorter, because my machine is down here, and then from here over, which is what? Just over 4.5 feet. So maybe this table's not 8 feet. Let me see. No, it has to be because it's one piece of oak. So yeah, it is 8 feet. But I have about 4.5 feet this way. That's just open space. That's why my computer and stuff are sitting there right now. So I have to decide if I'm going to put another insert, because I'm one of the people that I don't like sewing with my sewing machine up above my table. I want it recessed into my table, and my sewing table that's upstairs, that's going to stay just because, you know, I sew upstairs a lot. I cut a hole in that and put a shelf in there to hold my machine in there, in which any of my machines will fit in that hole upstairs other than my Singer Futura, what is that called? Quartet. It's really wide. I call her Fat Butt Betty. Don't know why I just started calling her that one day. So, once I get everything in place where I want it, and get myself organized, I will be down here sewing a lot more. I haven't decided if I'm gonna actually paint above where the fabric storage is now, because it would just be a lot of work to move 350 bolts of fabric, which I know doesn't, you know, for a quilt store, that's not a lot, but for someone who works out of their home, that is a lot. And I keep it organized by collection. So I literally would have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 25 shelves of fabric to move out of the way in order to paint there. So pretty much that's going to stay like it is with just the plain gray concrete wall. Still haven't figured out my whole ceiling issue, because I just don't like the way the ceiling looks. I don't mind the ductwork. I just don't like the openness of those floor joists up there. They bug me. But, I mean, I don't look up. But it seems like it makes it darker in here with that just being plain wood. So I'll probably end up painting that white at some point here during the winter, just to brighten it up down here. So, we're just going to call this pseudo day 1 of my studio remodel, because I've already started putting the floor and stuff in, which I still have more to come downstairs in order to finish the area that I'm doing, because I'm not doing the whole studio floor. Just this end down here where I work the most, and then that's it. Not even over here where my ironing board's going to go is going to be done. Oh, I'm like, why am I... It looked like I was looking out a window at snow. So, you know, let's just call this day 1-ish of the studio remodel, redecorate. And as I progress along, you know, I'll do more videos. Like I said, I sound like a goose in heat, and I look like a bad Halloween mask just because my allergies have been ridiculous. So, just be prepared. This is what I'm going to look like for a little bit. I'm expecting a week to 10 days. Gotta keep hydrated. And that's my allowance for the whole day, so that's why it's in that jar. Otherwise, can't think of anything else, you know, other than, you know, the Hoffman Dragonfly Dreams is on the way, along with the Hummingbird and I can't remember the name of the other one. So there's 4 new fabrics coming in, but there's, a large amount of them. One bolt of the dream is going to be mine because I'm doing a whole cloth quilt for a queen size bed. And then depending on how much is left on that bolt, I think I'm actually going to make curtains for my bedroom out of that fabric because I absolutely love it. But it really does depend on what it looks like when it comes in. I'm expecting it to be unbelievably gorgeous. So, my biggest issue is figuring out batting storage. And I kind of sort of have an idea on how I'm going to do it, but not 100%. And then I still have to get, my heat source for down here. I have a fireplace down here that's electric, but the space is too big for it. So I'm going to have to get the infrared heater or whatever it's called. I will look at those tomorrow because my truck is finally done again. This is 4th time, I hope, is the charm for this power steering fluid leak. It's been back at the mechanics for almost a week now, and they didn't change a clamp or something. I don't know. I am not automotive repair inclined, so all I know is that I was getting very, very frustrated with almost $3,000 of work, and the damn thing was still leaking. So I called today, and it was some kind of clamp, and they said, they've watched it for a day and a half now, and it hasn't dripped or leaked or anything like that. So, knock on wood, this is the last time it has to go in for that, considering I've had to replace the entire power steering system in my Trailblazer. Granted, my Trailblazer is 15 years old, but, fix it the first time. That's just how I look at it. So, that's pretty much it. I mean, it was a quick studio tour. Once I am 100% organized, and you know what? That light would work better if it was plugged in. Imagine that. Now I know why it's dark in that section. The light's unplugged. So, as I progress along, I'll do videos with updates, especially with this whole area over here. I really hate looking at the staircase because the whole thing is not painted. I ran out of that paint, of course, and I'm trying not to buy more paint. The paint that goes over here is already here. I've had it for 7 or 8 months. Marsha Robbins actually said, I thought you just redid your studio. I had started redoing my studio and then got sick and ended up back in the hospital and blah, 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 blah. So I really put it off. And since I stopped letting them, treat me like a guinea pig at U of M, I have been feeling better. And then all of a sudden my allergies went astronomically insane. I've never had allergy issues this bad before. So, not real happy about that. I mean, to the point that my eyeballs actually swelled shut. My left eye was like all puffed out. Just because I'd kept rubbing them because they itched so bad, and eye drops didn't work. So they seem to be getting a little bit better. Of course, we've had to turn our heat on because it's in the low 40s, upper 30s here now in Michigan, which is just progressively going to get colder. I actually saw something about it might snow next week, which is not unknown around here for Halloween. I remember as a kid having to have a snowsuit on underneath my Halloween costume because it was rain, snow, sleet mix. So it's just supposed to be trace amounts of snow. So it sounds like, I do need to go out and, get my wheelbarrows put up for the winter. Some plants moved into my greenhouse that are going to be overwintered. There's just a couple, maybe 5, that need to be moved in before the hard frost comes because I don't want to lose those plants. They're hardy, but not that hardy. So, and then I need to drain my pond. So, I guess I'm going to be out there in a coat doing that kind of stuff. So, I'm all over the place. I still need to finish the refinishing of my kitchen floor. And there's always laundry. Jeez, why can't it just, fold, wash, dry itself and put itself away? It doesn't. I waited. It's still sitting there. So, and I am going to be doing some cooking videos as I'm progressing through with putting my grandmother's recipes into a cookbook. So pretty much I've been trying them out all week, and I've been using my Ninja Foodie also. So that's going to be interesting. So look for my cookbook coming out, along with, there'll be some quilt patterns in there, and just, some Southern quips that I grew up with. Even though I live in the North, I was born in the North, I spent my summers and all of my holidays as a child in the South. So it's where my parents are from. So that's it for today. My battery's dying on my camera because I haven't had it plugged in a while. So I'm going to get this video uploaded. I'm not going to edit it. Not going to put any little quirky things in the beginning like you see on all these other YouTube videos. No music as usual. That drives me nuts. And I really hate these intros that are like 5 minutes long on a 10-minute video. It's like, really? It's stupid. So, day one of studio revamp, remodel, redecorate, whatever you want to call it. Upheaval right now is what I'm calling it. Is in the books. So, stay tuned. Probably every other day will be an upload as I'm working on it. Of course, there'll be days that I'm not down here working on it because I've got other things I've got to get done. So I'm just hoping to get this done quickly, efficiently, and for the last time. I'm kind of done redoing this. So until next time, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share, and create well. See ya!